For Sunday, February 21st, you found the Georgia Gang. Topping our agenda today, MARTA is in the crosshairs of the General Assembly. The Board of Regents says it's a tuition freeze. And Kasim Reed says we're going to fix this crime problem. Some of the stories up for grabs on the Georgia Gang.
From the Fox 5 studios, the Georgia Gang starts now.
And we're glad you could be with us on this fine Sunday. And by the way, pitchers and catchers have reported. I forgot to mention that last week. Yes, indeed, the Braves are underway in spring training down in Kissimmee, Florida. Now, let's talk about the more serious stuff. You got to have a program to follow this stuff, and we've got Theron Johnson here today to help us straighten it out. But there are transportation bills, it seems to me, all over the place. And this week, the Senate Transportation Committee passed a sales tax increase for MARTA, enabling that. All right. But in the meantime, the mayors of Fulton County have been meeting to discuss another sales tax. Or is it the same sales tax?
Well, I know Phil's going to make this point earlier, so let's back up for a second. So the transportation bill last year that was passed, I think it was House Bill 270, allowed the Senate bill that just passed out of committee to do exactly what it's intended to do, and that is to allow cities in Fulton County to basically be able to have money from a 1% sales tax towards SPLOST. Now, one thing to note about this bill, it does not raise the cap, it does not raise any taxes. And so what it does is basically gives an opportunity for cities to basically put it to the people to vote. This is simply what this bill does, is it puts on a referendum on the ballot in Fulton, maybe DeKalb, we don't know yet. There's been some talks about DeKalb going later, but they'll have an opportunity to vote for projects that will be upward to $1.3 billion over 5 years.
Yeah, and so that's the one that Mayor Reed has been putting his foot on the floor about.
That's right.
But the one that passed the Senate Transportation Committee
let me just address, if I may, just what Theron said. That was a very good analysis. But the rest of the story, what you didn't say is the split. And that is, Mayor Reed is demanding.
Now wait, we're talking two different bills, aren't we?
No, let me go to the local SPLOST.
Okay.
Mayor Reed wants a 50-50 split. He wants MARTA 50%. He wants the other roads infrastructure the other 50%. Right. That is the thing. That is the kicker. That all the mayors of Fulton County have to agree on this split.
Right.
They are not. So basically, Mayor Reed is standing in opposition to the other mayors. We're hoping a compromise will occur. So that's what we're waiting for.
Right. I think they are in conversation to try to work that out, and I think that they will, because they all agree that we need to have it. And
but MARTA and heavy rail is so expensive. That's the kicker.
The split
I'm
is
not
the deal.
sure,
Well,
because
and I think the split is not designated strictly for capital improvement or expansion. It's operations as well. I think it will help the operations.
Well, the big change in the bill is that they took out the word, they added the word transit.
Right.
That was a really big thing in the bill. And then the other thing about it is, let's be clear what Mayor Reed is saying. Mayor Reed is not saying it's either my way or the highway, or if we don't do what I want to do, we're not going to do anything at all. Let's go back. This mayor led the effort with T-SPLOST back in 2012.
That didn't go well.
Right, but hold on. But he's been strong on transportation. He also supported the transportation bill that the governor put forward last year. What the mayor is saying is that if you look at the way the units are broke down, I know you know the Constitution of Georgia, we have this unit system. So every mayor that is in Fulton County gets one vote, but the city of Atlanta represents 43% of the county and will be paying 50% of the sales tax. And so what the mayor is saying is that it's okay to have meetings, and the truth is the mayor has been in those meetings. I know it's reported that he won't meet with those mayors, and they had sort of reached a compromise.
He went to one.
No, but he's been meeting.
He's been represented there.
He's been represented there very well. And so what the mayor is saying is that MARTA deserves this 50-50 split. We've been talking about it for over 5 years now. Why not do it? And
let me interrupt. You said something smart, as you always do. The reason the word transit was inserted was to allow the bus option, as opposed to heavy rail up to North Fulton.
Correct.
I'll tell you, this is mind-boggling that Republicans joined Democrats to pass a bill aiding MARTA.
Well, I tell you, it's because of the congestion.
And it's about time, right?
It's about traffic.
But all those mayors don't want MARTA. They've said so.
Well, here's the other side of the coin. We talk about the millennials, that they want, they don't want to be in their automobiles. They want buses, or they want heavy rail. But the millennials grow up, And so none of this would be in place.
I hope so.
None of this will be in place in 15 years.
Phil,
is my point. That's my point. The millennials will be growing.
No, but Phil, that's a little disingenuous.
And heavy rail is expensive.
Phil, you know, listen, this region is growing every day, and I know I'm a little closer to being a millennial than you are. Let me tell you what it's all about.
I live in North Fulton. I live in North Fulton.
Let me tell you what it's about.
And let me tell you, we don't want to be paying for all of this heavy rail money when we all agree, I would hope, that we should widen 400 and get the buses rolling, and that will be a better solution and a cheaper solution.
If I can get one point in, not to argue with Phil, what the Republicans know, Dick, is this. 20,000 jobs, 20,000 plus jobs that have been created in this region, particularly in Atlanta, all are connected to a MARTA train stop or a bus stop. So
Dunwoody.
Right,
Dunwoody, right there.
So this is the economic argument that no one can disagree with. That basically these companies that are moving to this region, they want to be near near transit. And so what the GOP members that voted for this are hearing from their districts, they're tired of traffic. And the thing about MARTA, what they are starting to do, which I'm very proud of, no one can disagree that you want to cut your commute time going to and from work. That's the message that's getting out, and I think that's what the Republicans.
So you're just blindly in favor of MARTA, and you don't want the buses?
No, I am.
MARTA includes the buses.
I know. I'm just asking because buses are a cheaper solution
Bus
in a
rapid
wider
transit is the answer.
In a wider 400, that will help tremendously. Because I live, and everybody who lives in North Fulton knows that.
I'm just saying, Phil. I guess you love to be in traffic. I hate being stuck in traffic.
Well, we all hate traffic. That's a ridiculous argument.
No, it's not ridiculous. It's what it's about.
It's priorities. It's budget priorities. And are you going to your point you've always made, are you going to give an extra tax to the taxpayers of Fulton County that are already funding this?
Well, let's end the discussion here. Nothing works with MARTA if only 2 counties pay for it.
That's right.
If MARTA is totally built on the backs of Fulton and DeKalb, it doesn't work.
And that's what North Fulton has been saying all along.
Well, that's what many people have been saying all along. And
DeKalb County, too.
Well, I think that Gwinnett and Cobb need to come into the MARTA system.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
And that's another flaw in this plan.
No, it's not flawed, but let's just focus on DeKalb really quickly. The big thing that everyone can agree on, that the I-20 expansion plan that basically would take the Indian Creek stop and extend it out to Stonecrest, and also the Clifton corridor, which I know you talk to a lot of these folks around this Clifton area that want to get that extended.
I'm in favor of that.
You just can't have it both ways,
well,
Phil. You got to be on board with transit.
As a Democrat, you want to pay for everything and forget about the bills come in later.
Hey, even John Lewis this week said there's no free stuff.
And you know what? We ought to make him our winner. He actually was lecturing.
Oh,
he was lecturing people like you that you can't have it for free.
He doesn't lecture
He's
me.
not a Bernie Sanders guy. Come on.
I don't feel the burn. I smell the smoke, but I don't feel the burn.
All right, let's get off this transit thing. I don't get it. It's a stupid argument, this whole thing, as long as 2 counties are footing the bill.
It affects everyone's pocketbooks, though. That's the most important thing.
Well, I don't
being
think these
cheap,
taxes
Phil.
are going to
Pay
pass.
for a little-
For
pay for a
example,
little something.
Theron referenced DeKalb. DeKalb Commission has written MARTA saying, we can't do it this year.
Yeah. Right.
We're not going to do that.
Right.
So it's kind of a silly argument. One thing did pass this week. The supplemental budget passed both houses. Became the first thing to be sent to the governor's desk for his signature. And the supplemental budget must have been fun this year because they had money.
They had money.
And what they're finding out is, back to transit,
Yep.
gas money is flowing in with that new gas tax that was passed a year ago.
And
They were
buying
very
more
lucky.
gas because it's cheaper, too.
They were very lucky.
Thank you.
They were very lucky
President
that
Right.
gas prices, thanks to the free
what's
market
a gallon
and
of gas did you
fracking.
pay this week, Dick?
Yeah.
Like
What'd you pay
180,
for a
so-
gallon of gas this week?
187.
Yeah,
Wow,
see,
doesn't
look
that
at
feel good
Yeah.
under President Obama's leadership to
please.
have
Right.
Please.
lower
Yeah,
gas
yeah.
prices?
More
No, that was-
propaganda.
That was something that you cited
Here,
the whole
why
time.
don't we tell
Obama
the
was elected,
listeners?
gas
Tell the
was
listeners what
$1.89
else is in the supplemental
What?
budget. There's more money for Hope scholarships.
Yes.
There's more money for the technical system, which is doing a great job trying to get people into jobs. That's what we're trying to be doing here. So you were just lucky on the gas thing, and you're right, more
I was
revenues
lucky?
came
All right,
in.
What?
we've got to get out.
The gas prices went down for the first time.
We've got to get out. I can't believe we just blew the whole thing on MARTA and this undecipherable measure that's going through the state Senate. When we come back, the Board of Regents does us all a favor. Stay with us.
Have a question or comment for the Georgia Gang? Visit their website at fox5atlanta.com.
You can get used to government doing similar things time after time after time. This week, the Board of Regents of the state of Georgia did something different. The board froze tuition, something you've been advocating, Phil, for some time.
Well, that's a great. We've had 5 years of constant raises. Student debt, as we all know, is rising. It was the right thing to do. To put it in perspective, though, the reason they had to raise tuition, the regents argue, is because the state legislature cut the funding for the university
well,
system.
Obama was president.
That's exactly right. And you've got.
And who was governor?
And you've got some colleges that are running a deficit, and they can't close them. Sad to say, some of them were historically black colleges.
It is a good thing, and it almost sounds like a response to Bernie Sanders. But that's why it kind of surprised me when the Board of Regents did that. But it is good. Tuition, as John Lewis said this week, nothing is free. But not raising the tuition is a very good thing for every Georgian of every stripe, I think.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, what the congressman is really saying is that, listen.
You don't like it, but he said that.
No. I was with the congressman when he said it. And again, you got to know the whole clip. You got to see the whole clip. What the congressman is saying is that, of course, President Obama, I think we all agree, has led the way with basically helping students, student loan forgiving their debt, basically making it more affordable, raising the Pell Grant. He's been an outstanding president when it comes to making it easier for our young people to go to college. What the congressman was saying is that candidate Senator Bernie Sanders can't go out and basically just offer free college for everyone and can't tell us how he's going to pay for it and how he's going to get it done and get it passed.
Plus, the president has also suggested that community college, junior colleges, be tuition free for local residents and find ways to
Which would
pay for it.
cost billions, but
Yeah.
anyhow.
But it's not new news.
Let's go back to the legislature. Let's leave
Okay.
that national political argument aside for the moment. Campus carry. I'm a gun guy, okay? I'm a gun guy. I don't like campus carry, but it's on the move in the General Assembly, isn't it?
It is. I think you'll see it pass the House perhaps by the time the show airs. And Dick, the times have changed. I once agreed with you, but that was 10 years ago. And now I don't see any problem. What the bill says, if you're 21 and you have a carry license, and if you can save one life, let's do it. Let's do it. You can stop a massacre by just one person with a gun.
But here's the thing, where are you going to keep this gun? It doesn't make any sense. If they can't keep them in the dorm, you're going to carry it and check it where?
I can just strap it to my ankle and have
I think the first place is needed is the Georgia State University Library.
Well, that's right.
But Alexis makes a great point. I mean, I think it was an article where a Georgia Tech student said that the bill doesn't go far enough. I want to be able to house and conceal my gun in my dorm room. But I totally disagree with this bill. I think at a time where we've had shootings on many, many college campuses, and we should not have students basically having the right to store guns in their college dormitories. Now, the other thing that the bill doesn't address that I think it needs to address is that if you're going to allow college students, and we're talking about people between the ages of 18, some 25, to carry guns on campus.
It's got to be over 21.
All right, or 21. But my point is, we got to make sure that we go back to basically screening people who may have mental illnesses. And if you're making it easier for them to access guns, and now they can have them in their college dormitories or on the college campuses, we got to make sure we plan.
I don't disagree with the mental illness.
When mental illness strikes.
I don't disagree with any of that. However, you know the statistics as well as I do. You're forgetting to tell people that everyone with a carry license, they are rarely involved in any killings at all. This is the beauty of people with carry. This is why so many states have it.
Young people have carry licenses.
Oh, listen, you've got Iraq war veterans or Afghanistan war veterans. I hope they're there. If my son or daughter or any of our children are the subject of some maniac, you want somebody there that'll take out the maniac.
Let's change the subject. Phil, are you writing legislation these days?
I wish I was.
I think he's influenced.
Here's why I say that, because you were the first to sound the alarm on fantasy sports.
I was.
And this week, Senator Renee Unterman introduced a bill to regulate those fantasy sports in Georgia.
That's right. I predicted it, and I wish I had written the bill because I don't understand parts of it. Let me tell the viewers what it is. Yes, this is an unregulated industry, and yes, there's a lot of revenue here, and I'd love to see some of that money go into Hope and some other things and tax it. If it's going to be, it's $1 billion plus industry, so tax it. What Senator Unterman is doing is you would have a $50,000 registration fee if you want to start playing here, if you're a player, and then a $10,000 fee annually. Who would regulate it, Dick? And I don't understand this. She wrote in the bill the Attorney General. Now, that office is not a regulatory body. I don't understand that. So
the Lottery Commission should do that.
Well, or an independent board,
We
whatever.
do already have
whatever.
gambling in Georgia. You know that.
Right.
We do, but here's and we aren't lawyers here, but however, it's the definition of a bet. Now, Senator Unterman says this is a game of skill. That is the big controversy all over the country, let alone, is it skill or is it chance?
We have to
I
get
think it's
out.
chance.
We have to get out.
I think it's both.
But quick question. The two religious freedom bills in the General Assembly were merged. The one, the pastor protection, and the other one that allows people
the
to...
First Amendment bill.
First Amendment bill. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it, Phil. Thank you.
Right.
They've been merged.
Okay.
I ask, is that a poison pill to kill them?
Well, I think that Theron and I might agree that it was probably a smart legislative move. It was a compromise, and they seem to be moving forward as we're taping.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, as we're taping, I think the Senate is going to vote on this today. I think a big shout out and sort of kudos goes to Leader Kauser, who I know was in the mix of all this, basically combining the two bills. But the Democratic stance on this is that we cannot pass a bill, a RIFA bill, that has any type of discriminatory language in it. And so some of that language has been taken out, especially around the pastor protection bill. So I think we just kind of got to wait and see. But to your point, Dick, again, the devil is in the details.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be a long discussion about these.
The wording is, can you protect, say, a Christian who is in a private business who, because of his sincere religious beliefs, doesn't want to deal with, say, a same-sex couple? That's the devil in the details.
We have to get out.
Right.
We have to get out. We're way behind now. When we come back, Kasim Reed, the mayor of Atlanta, once again takes on crime. We'll explain that when we return.
Have a question or comment for the Georgia Gang? Visit their website at fox5atlanta.com.
And remember to contact us on Facebook and our YouTube channel. Now, we've got to talk quickly here because I let that MARTA discussion go on way too long. But turning closer to home in the city of Atlanta, Kasim Reed this week announced a series of measures to fight crime. I know, Phil, you've been harping on that for some time. He's creating different task forces and whatnot. Is this real or is it Memorex?
Well, I'm glad, first of all, I'm glad he did this. There's been a lot of pressure. We've had the murder rate has spiked up, rapes are up. I am very happy, and I think we all might agree on this. I am a big supporter of cameras, especially in the city. They've worked in Buckhead, and part of this initiative was to get more cameras to help solve more crimes.
He's trying to rival London in the camera area.
Well, I think it's a good thing.
But one of the things that Phil always leaves out as he praises the mayor for taking these extra measures to basically be smart about crime in the city of Atlanta is that the facts in this FBI study, I double checked because I know you always ask the source, but the truth of the matter is crime in the city of Atlanta is still down 24 points since the mayor has taken office. And so I think the mayor is definitely
covering everything, but
covering
not
everything,
rapes and murders.
And well, we still have had under 100 murders in the state. So, but I think the thing that also that you just pointed out, the mayor knows that he's got to utilize technology, be innovative, and be strong on crime. So I think I agree with you around the cameras.
Let me speed this up a little bit. I think we should mention the streetcar, which sometimes runs behind us here on the set, took in $12,000 in January. It has annual operating expenses of $5 million. And that $12,000
another Obama failure.
It isn't good. Well, total, yeah.
Well.
And cities all over the country are reporting that. In DeKalb County, Michael Thurman declared this week for CEO.
Yes.
I think, with all due respect to Connie Stokes, I think Michael Thurman is almost going to win by acclamation. People would breathe a deep sigh of relief after he turned around the school system. Oh, there's a streetcar. After he turned around the school system, now he can do it with the county.
Right.
I think Michael's putting together a good biracial coalition there.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a step towards the future in the cab.
Right, and I think he has certainly the skill set. He's a good politician and he's a great manager, and which has been proven.
He'll sweep North
time and
DeKalb.
again.
There's no question about that. And I think it's altogether a good thing.
Right.
Again, with all due respect to Connie Stokes, who was in the race, and a fellow named Calvin Sims. Now, you know, late in the week came word that former governor and U.S. Senator Zell Miller had fallen up there in Young Harris and fractured his hip and his shoulder. He's 84. We got to wish him well. I mean,
Absolutely.
one of Georgia's greatest ever politicians, and I'm not trying to bury him right now, because he's a fighter, but...
We just talked about the Hope Scholarship. He led the country. People seem to forget that, with this unique scholarship to help students, and it's a model for the country. We owe Zell Miller big time.
Well,
And he gave us the lottery too, didn't he?
He did.
and with his fractured hip, Phil,
Fund it.
he could sit in your seat on the Georgia gang, make it a majority of fractured hips. All right, we can't really talk about presidential politics. We got to be honest. We are taping before the South Carolina primary, and on the Republican side, and the Nevada caucuses on the Democratic side. But we do need to mention that Donald Trump is just beyond belief. He is attacked by the Pope, and he returns fire.
Yep.
Who would have thought that? Who would offend the largest religious voting bloc in the country?
Well, I tell you what, Donald Trump was in the right on that one, and there's a lot of condemnation. The Pope should stay out of electoral politics. And there's been a lot of, even liberal newspapers are saying, the Pope went a bridge too far here. Whether you like Donald Trump or not, I think that...
In God we trust.
I think that there's
I don't
nothing...
understand you, Phil. You go from one side to the other on this issue.
Let me just finish my point, because, I'm in favor of In God We Trust, and that's God, but in terms of a religious leader, that's not God. That is just a human being that needed some consultants to try to deal with a reporter's question.
Let Alexis respond. But
No, go ahead.
No, but my point is that what Alexis is saying, let's go back to what the Pope said. He said that what Donald Trump is doing, what he's saying in the tone of his campaign and his rhetoric is not Christian-like. And he basically questioned whether Donald Trump was a Christian.
He was way out of line. Way out of line.
I mean, but state the facts.
Remember, the Pope said 2 years ago, "Who am I to judge when it came to same-sex marriage?" So the Pope can't have it both ways. Who is he to judge?
But to Alexis' point, you can't have it both
All right,
ways.
we got to get out.
No, I'm not a religious leader.
We didn't even get to the Democrats. We didn't even get to the Democrats. And
how about the barking of Hillary Clinton? Isn't that a disgraceful thing?
Barking like a dog.
Barking like a dog.
We've got to get out. I just want to put a postscript on the Pope. He's the sovereign of Vatican City. It is a city surrounded by walls. And they don't let people into Vatican City except as tourists. And we'll ask how many Syrian refugees has Vatican City taken in. All right, when we come back, winners and losers.
Time now for the week's winners and losers.
We have to talk quickly here, but I think I can speak for all four of us. Harper Lee, the author of To Kill a Mockingbird, died on Friday, and she one of the great figures in American literature. We'll make her our joint winner, and I'll start with you, Theron.
So I'll go and basically echo what Phil said earlier. Congressman John Lewis was his winner. I'll make him my winner this week as well. Congressman Lewis is turning 76 today. Sunday, and so I want to wish Congressman Lewis a very happy birthday. I also want to make Miguel Southwell my winner. He basically pushed back on TSA saying, listen.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, he basically saying, and a person like us, we all travel a lot. We definitely need to make sure we have improvements to TSA. Also, I want to basically make the women of color that are going to basically determine the outcomes in Nevada and South Carolina. They're going to have the first time to really vote in these elections, because in Iowa, New Hampshire, you don't have a lot of Hispanic women voters. There are black women voters, Asian, Native Americans, et cetera. And then my loser has got to be Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. How un-American is for him to come out and basically say that we're not going to let this president, which is his constitutional right, and responsibility, and cannot provide a plausible, rational reason why this president, and we've had 13 presidents that has done it before, put forth a nominee to basically replace Scalia.
The president can put it forth, Phil.
Well, my winner is Mitch McConnell for being principled. He never said what you said. He said
not this president. He could
nominate the man in the moon, but it's not going to happen.
He needs to do his constitutional responsibility.
Well, my second winner is Michael Hightower, who had a great conference. He's been doing this for years
Convicted
now.
felon Michael Hightower?
He is with the Metro Development
Convicted
Conference.
felon Michael Hightower.
And Michael has turned his life around. He has turned his life around. I am going to tell him, tell you, this was a great thing. You learned a lot of information. You saw Democrat, Republican, black and white trying to get the information, to get the solutions. It was a really good thing. And you know what? I'm going to talk about the mayor again. Pothole Kassim
God, you
Reed.
can't- you
If we're
can't-
gonna,
you can't be
if
nice
we're
on
gonna
her.
get some money
Yeah,
for
we're in a hurry,
infrastructure,
we're in a hurry.
let's get it.
Alexa, speak quickly.
I'm going to make Jocelyn Dorsey my winner. She's been inducted into the Georgia Broadcasters Hall of Fame for her 43 years in broadcasting and community service. Congratulations, Jocelyn. And Kenny Leon has been tapped to do a second live performance on NBC with Hairspray coming up in December 7th as the director. Congratulations.
All right, thank you, Alexis. And I'm out of time. I just know that the Braves are in spring training. The Hawks decided to stand pat, which is an interesting decision at this time of the year. And that's it. We'll see you next week on the Georgia Gang.
The opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of the panelists appearing in this program.